Hey, welcome back to Mocktails with Marina, and welcome back to day 5 of the Department in a Box series. This is a week-long mini crash course on the core internal departments that every non-alcoholic bar, bottle shop, or third place needs to run like a real business. Not a vibes experiment held together with duct tape and adrenaline. Today we're talking about a department that everybody wants the results of, but nobody wants the responsibility for, and that is events planning and event management. This is the department that creates magic, right? Like this is where the buzz, the community, the foot traffic, the sales spikes, the retention, the word of mouth comes from. But it's also the department where most business owners completely underestimate everything involved until it burns them out, blows up in their face, or turns into a logistical dumpster fire. So we're going to go ahead and fix that. And as always, if you want to get the plug and play templates, SOPs, Notion systems, timelines, budgets, and done for you checklists that go with this episode, you can grab the event planning and management box. That link is in the episode summary. So let's go ahead and get into it and start by talking about why events as a whole is a department and not a one-off task. So if you've been following this series, you already know the theme. Anything you do repeatedly needs to live inside of a department. In events, you're running them constantly. And just as a quick little list of examples, right? Grand openings, influencer nights, community classes, vendor pop-ups, live music, kava or other botanical education nights, sip-in shops, tastings, workshops, sober meetups, holiday events, fundraising, product launches, menu releases, collaborations, you name it. Your business is not occasionally doing events, right? Like your business technically relies on them if you are a third space. Even if you're not an event planner, even if you're like, I'm just running a bar, I have karaoke nights sometimes, like that still counts, right? Your business relies on them. So this cannot live in the we're going to wing it section of your brain anymore. When you treat events like a department instead of a random opportunity, you can now create predictable turnout, revenue, execution, staffing, and marketing cycles, which means no more last minute stress, no more forgetting permits, no more panicked target runs 10 minutes before the event, and no more apologizing to customers because the music didn't start on time, right? Many examples can be folded into this, but at the end of the day, events should be your greatest growth engine. They should not be your greatest source of chaos. So there are 3 main pillars of event planning and management, and all of these are featured inside of the event planning box, and I break it down a lot more. So the main pillars are planning, management, and debriefing. So let's start with planning. This is everything that happens before the event, right? So this is brainstorming concepts, choosing dates and times strategically, coordinating with vendors, performers, or partners, creating a run of show, checking legal requirements, reserving equipment, ordering supplies, setting your budget, building the marketing plan, assigning internal roles, communicating expectations. Like there's a lot that goes into planning. This is where most owners totally underprepare and overestimate their actual day of capacity. Planning is not remembering things in your head. Planning has to be documented, visible, and timeline based. Then you have management. So this is different. This is everything that happens during the event, right? So this is, you have someone who's running point. You have someone who's managing staff, someone who's watching inventory, someone who's supporting the guest flow, someone who's handling payments or vendor check-ins or payouts, depending on the structure you have set up. You have someone who's recording data. You have someone who's troubleshooting. Sometimes, I'm not saying you have like 8, 9 different people here, but sometimes that does overlap, but that someone cannot be the owner all the time, right? Because this is where the business falls apart. If it's all just thrown together or done by one person, right? Because the person who just is like, oh, I assume this is all going to run itself, it's fine. Like they end up with foot and mouth because everything requires management, right? Everything else about an event is decoration. And yes, that's something that's a little bit easier to kind of do on the fly. But when it comes to the management, orchestrating the various pieces that come together to create the vision that you have in your head, that requires management. That requires a host, right? Very different. And that brings me to my third pillar, which is debriefing. And this is where the real magic is, even though it feels like just about everyone, every client we onboard, when we ask, do you debrief events? They say no. Or they'll have a quick little chat, quick little smoke break, but they won't sit down with metrics, right? If debriefing was a real aspect of your events department, here's what it would include. You'd be chatting about and documenting what worked, what didn't. Did you meet goals? What can be improved? What should be repeated? How did these systems hold up? Was staffing right? Was marketing performed at all? Above expectation, lower than expectations? Were the vendors valuable? Were the customers happy? Without the debrief and without really diving into this, your events are never going to get easier. You're just going to keep guessing. Debriefing is what turns events into a repeatable revenue system. So that being said, here are the biggest problems that I see and why they happen. Number one, events are planned emotionally, not strategically, right? So people will choose dates based on vibes and not data, and then they're like shocked at low turnout. Or they think that this idea is really cool, but no one else cares, right? Like, you need to plan strategically. Problem number two is that no one's actually in charge. So like everyone assumes that someone else is leading, and things always fall through the cracks, and things that were advertised are not delivered upon. And that shows. Like, people see that and then they judge your business based off of that. Problem number three, no documentation. Like, there's no timeline, no checklist, no run of show, no vendor SOP, no staff briefing. People don't know what's going on, like, from any direction. And then it just becomes this very confused thing where people are like, do you want to go somewhere else? Because it's not quite clear what's going on. Number four, underestimating logistics, right? An event is kind of like a mini business inside of your business. It requires operations, marketing, staffing, supplies, equipment, tech, and customer flow. And when these logistics are not properly estimated, once again, we fall into this kind of weird zone of what's going on, who's in charge, what even is this? It becomes an emotional reaction rather than a strategic, like, pinpoint target. Fifth problem is marketing being an afterthought. Like, to be very clear here, posting on Instagram the day before an event is not a marketing strategy. That is you barely holding on, right? There needs to be an entire strategic flow 90 days out from the event to make this make sense. And I know that feels like a lot at first, but when you have the right system, it actually becomes very simple. And another problem I see is no revenue goals. And this is where I know people don't want to like always quantify their passions or what they're doing, but this is a business, right? Like, you can't evaluate what you don't measure. Most businesses aren't actually using their events to drive growth. They're just hosting them for fun. And I mean, if that's you and you have like a trust fund to burn through, freaking cool, do it. But I'm speaking to people who typically are looking to create community connection and find a way to support themselves and their business, right? Their families. So if you are doing the events department right, these problems don't come up. Right? Like, when this department is built correctly, it feels like a clear, like, annual event calendar. Like, it's just so crispy and so sharp, you know what's coming up. You see quarterly signature events. You have monthly community events. You have weekly traffic driving events. And you have 6-week promo timelines for bigger events. You have clear communication between vendors and staff. You have a run of show created automatically by your templates. And the templates are easy to read. People understand them. They don't have to learn every single time or try to understand what's going on through a bunch of scraps. It also, when you have this events department running correctly and smoothly, you have roles assigned ahead of time. People aren't just showing up last minute not knowing what they're doing. You get a debrief form for every event, and you have data that shows what to repeat and what to discontinue. This is what removes stress. This is what creates momentum. This is what creates consistency. And this is what takes you out of winging it and puts you into this category of, I know how to scale this. I know how to double down on what makes sense. So our event planning and management department in a box helps you implement all of these things. So it includes the exact tools I've built for bars, bottle shops, kava bars, and NA businesses across the country, tools that remove all of the guesswork. So event planning timelines, templates, coordination SOPs, and everything that has to do with the dashboard. So what I mean by dashboard is this is your calendar of events. Inside, when you click on that event, it has all of the information to help you plan, coordinate, and debrief. This is a full department in one place. All you have to do is plug it in, follow the plan, and execute. So, that being said, this is a very important department, and I am trying to make these episodes as compact as possible so that you can understand the importance of what we're doing here. So it's not that we're telling you what events to put on and what you need to do to look a certain way. This is the back-end operational backbone that holds up everything that you want to do. So no matter what type of events you want to do, this is going to be helpful for you. If you are wanting this full template, please go ahead and grab the event planning and management box. The link is in the description below. If you're loving this series, please share it with another founder, bar owner, or industry friend. And next, we are going to dive into the final department in a box, which is the menu and product management, aka the COGS, right? It's going to be a good one. When I say final, I just mean final podcast episode, by the way. We do have other departments in boxes, and you can go ahead and check those out as well. Everything is linked within each other, so it's easy to find. You find one, you'll find them all. But we wanted to make 6 podcast episodes specifically to help you understand the main departments that absolutely everybody has in this industry. So, as always, if you need anything, just let me know. You can reach out via email, hello@marinamars.com, and I will be there to help you figure out which department you need to get in a box.